Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to follow a single email on its incredible, split-second journey to really understand the hidden machinery that makes the whole thing possible. You know, it feels completely instant, doesn't it? But behind that one little click is this fascinating high-speed relay race happening between servers all over the world, and it all happens in just a few milliseconds.
All right, let's just dive right in. We're going to track our email through 5 key stages, from the moment it leaves your screen to the second your recipient opens it up.
Okay, so it all begins the instant you smash that send button. Your email client, whether it's Outlook or the Gmail app on your phone, it doesn't just toss your message out into the digital void.
Instead, it uses a very specific language called SMTP, that's Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, to hand off your message to your email provider's outbound mail server. Honestly, just think of it like dropping your letter into the very first official Postal Service collection box. That's the first step. So the big question is, how does your mail server know where in the world to send your email? I mean, the internet is a massive, massive place after all. Well, it pretty much acts like a detective. The sending server consults the DNS, the domain name system, which is basically the internet's giant address book. It looks for a special entry for the recipient's domain, something called an MX record. Think of it as the mail exchange address. It points directly to the exact IP address of the server that handles all the email for that domain. Now, before the receiving server just accepts the email, it has to do a quick security check. It needs to verify the sender's identity to protect against that constant flood of spam and phishing attacks. And here's something that's really interesting. There are actually 2 from addresses. There's the technical mail from address that's on the digital envelope, which the servers use. And then there's the friendly from address on the letterhead inside, which is what you see. The big problem? That letterhead address can be faked super easily. And this is exactly why we have this 3-part security team. So first, SPF acts like a bouncer, checking a list to see if the email came from an authorized server. Next, DKIM adds a cryptographic seal, which proves the message hasn't been messed with in transit. And finally, you've got DMARC, which is the rulebook. It tells the receiving server exactly what to do with emails that fail these checks, like just reject it or send it to spam. Okay, so our email has passed security. It officially arrives at the destination server. But it doesn't just barge in. It's met by a gatekeeper. This gatekeeper, it's a piece of software called the Mail Transfer Agent, or MTA. A really common one you'll find out there is named Postfix. Its entire job is to handle that SMTP conversation, accept the incoming email, and then decide where it needs to go next. And this really gets to the heart of a modern email server. It's not one single program, it's a team of specialists. Postfix is the mail router, handling all the server-to-server traffic using SMTP. It's like the central sorting facility for all mail coming in and going out. Dovecot, on the other hand, is the mailbox manager. It handles your access, the client-to-server part, using protocols like IMAP. It's like the local clerk who files your mail and then grabs it for you when you ask for it. So Postfix, our MTA, has accepted the email. Its job is pretty much done. It now hands the message off to another specialist, the Mail Delivery Agent, or MDA. And in our setup, that role is played by Dovecot. Dovecot's very first task is to physically save the email to the server's hard drive. It usually uses what's called the MailDir format, where every single email is its own separate file. This is way more reliable and a lot less likely to get corrupted than the older Mbox format, which just dumps all of a user's emails into one giant, messy text file. Okay, so the email is saved as a file. But how in the world does Dovecot know which user this email belongs to? And where exactly on the hard drive is that user's specific mailbox folder? Because that information is not in the email file itself. And this is where the database becomes the central nervous system of the entire server. Both Postfix and Dovecot completely rely on it. See, Postfix might query the database just to confirm the recipient's address is valid before it even accepts the email. Then, once it's accepted, Dovecot queries that same database to find the exact file path for that user's mailbox, telling it precisely where on the hard drive to store that new email. Now, in huge systems like Gmail or Microsoft 365, this gets even more sophisticated. The database doesn't store the whole email. Nope. It only holds the small, searchable metadata, the sender, subject, and date. The actual email content, what they call the blob, is stored separately in this vast, highly scalable, and way cheaper cloud object storage. So at this point, the email has completed its journey. It's safely filed away in the correct virtual mailbox on the server. The very last step is for the recipient to actually read it.
So when you open your email app, it connects to the server, specifically to our mailbox manager, Dovecot, using a protocol called IMAP.
IMAP is basically the magic that keeps everything in sync. You know when you read an email on your phone, it shows up as read on your laptop too? That's IMAP, because it manages the mail directly on the server. It's a huge advantage over the older POP3 protocol, which would just download your mail to one device and then often delete it from the server, making it totally inaccessible anywhere else.
So when you really look at the whole picture, sending an email isn't a single action at all. It's this beautifully orchestrated collaboration between SMT routers like Postfix, authentication systems, a central database, and mailbox managers like Dovecot, all working in perfect harmony.
So next time you hit send, maybe you'll think about that incredible journey for a second. That's the real story of how an email server works. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.